So in this video, I want to take a look at the setup menus on the VT132 and talk a little bit about the 132 as well. So the first thing here to mention is I am using a video capture device off the VGA output, the VT132, and there's some lag getting through the USB to my computer. That lag is not the VT132, it's just the video capture hardware. So please keep that in mind. So I'm going to go ahead and reset the VT132 here just to give you an indication of what it looks like at power up. So we can see the Osd display across the bottom, and that's from the capture device. We're at 800/600 resolution, 60 hertz, and the VT132 is up. You saw the wait while it fetched the non-volatile memory settings. Let's go ahead and reset my RC 2014 here as well. And there's the normal press space to activate console. I grab the console, and we'll get booted here into CPM, and we're into CPM. So with that, let's jump directly into the setup menus. So Alt print screen will get you into setup, and we'll get you back out. So we'll get back in. And as you can see here, it looks like the standard VT100 setup screen. You know, the setup A, this is very familiar if you've ever used a VT100 and mucked in setup. We've got the tab stops across the bottom. The 1 to 0 across the bottom are the columns. There's a tab stop apparently set at 9, at 17, at 25, etc. So one of the additions that's been made to the setup is you can hit the F1 key and bring up help. And here's what the help for this screen looks like. And this is a really nice extension beyond the standard VT100 setup. Normally you'd be looking in the manual to figure out what switches do what. So we'll kind of talk through these. We can reset the tab stops with a T key. We can set or clear a tab stop at cursor position. So let me use the cursor keys here to move around, and I can hit 2, and I can set a new tab stop there. And I can hit 2 and turn that tab stop back off. We can clear them all. We can toggle online and offline mode. That's up there in the right-hand corner. We're online. The VT100 is actually, or the VT132 is actually talking to the RC 2014. 5 in all of the setup menus will move us to the next setup screen. We can use 9 here to toggle 80 and 132 column mode. So let me hit 9. And there we are in 132 column mode. And I'll hit 9 to come back to 80 column mode. We can reset everything with 0, and we can, I believe it's got to be a Shift S. Yeah, Shift S. We'll save these. Or I hit Control S. Shift S will save these as our current settings. That way, the next time the VT132 powers up, it'll have these settings. So let's hit 5 and move on to setup B. Because I had help on, it's still displayed here. Let me hit F1 to turn help off. And that's pretty much normally the screen you would see on the VT100. You've got that 1, 2, 3, 4 across the bottom with the sets of bits. Those we use to control various things. We can see our transmit and receive speed down there. I've got it set to 19.2K baud. On the original VT100, you could set those individually. On the VT132, they need to be set to the same speed. It just got to do with how the UART works on the VT132. Let me bring back up the help. We can look at some of these menus here. We can toggle online and offline. If I toggle this to offline, we're no longer talking to the RC 2014 at this point. 5, of course, would move us on to setup C. We can use the cursor keys here to move across. And if I wanted to change the scrolling here, I believe this would change it to smooth scroll. I can now hit 6, and it'll toggle that bit to 1. I'm going to hit 6 again and toggle it back off, and we can enable keyboard auto repeat. We can invert the screen. I believe we can change the cursor type here if I remember right. Yeah, underscore for block. We move across here. We can turn the margin bell on or off. I've got the key click enabled. Actually, the key click is here. As you can see, key click is enabled. Ansi or VT52 mode. I want to be in Ansi mode. Auto X on or X off. And you can just see through here, US or UK settings. That affects the character font slightly. Rather than get a pound sign, you get the British pound sign. It's that, I think, kind of an L-looking character. Auto wraparound, auto new line, interlace or non-interlaced, and some settings for the the serial port parity on or off, etc. So let's move on to setup C. Setup C without help looks like this. So the help is disabled. And what you see in setup C here is it's a VT132 design for the RC 2014. The way the RC 2014 board is designed, this actually can be applied to really a lot of other platforms. I'm going to be using one of these cards in my Altair, and we'll go through in some videos about how I'm going to do that. It'll be minor modifications, minor modifications to the card to make that work. I'm on version 1.0.0 beta 6. He gives a shout out to, I'm not going to be able to say his name, Fabrizio. This is built on the FabGL software platform, which had some simple VT100 emulation in it, and Dave has just extended, this an incredible amount to get to the point where we are now. The screen size and the viewport size have to do with how FabGL implements the screen. There's the VGA scan rate, 800 by 300, and the actual viewport into it's 800 by 240 pixels. And this is interlaced, so it's actually double that. Our terminal size is currently set to 80 by 24. There's some indication here of memory. And there's a dump of the VT100 220 ROM, character ROM there. Let me bring up help. And I want to change the 24 and the 25 line display, and I can do that hitting 3. You'll see the screen blank and come back. And we're now in 25 line display, so we've got 25 lines on the screen. Just to demonstrate it, let me move back around to setup A, and I'm going to change this to 132 column mode. And we've now got 132 column by 25 line display. It's really nice. That is just really, really nice. Let me get back to 80 column mode. I use 5 again to get to setup C. I want to stay in the 24, 25. I want to stay in 25 line mode, so I'm going to hit Shift S at this point and save that as my default settings. You can, of course, make multiple changes and save them all together. We've got 2 different palettes on the system. What you're currently seeing across the bottom is the Ansi palette. If I hit 6, it'll change it to the VGA palette. And you probably saw the third color from the left turn to brown there. If you're watching right now, it's in VGA palette and it's brown. If I bring it back around, it'll become yellow. In the Ansi palette, we can set a default foreground and background color here if we want. We can set the code page. So right now, the code page is the DEC VT100 VT220 ROM. And a really wonderful extension here is to be able to change that to the PC code page 437. So where this is going to be beautiful to use is the VT132 has a built-in modem. And by that I mean there's 2 serial ports that come to the card on the RC 2014 bus. And the second one comes to the VT132, and it appears to the VT132 to be a Hayes somewhat compatible modem. And you can use a program like QTerm under CPM to talk to that modem. And it implements the AT commands, connect, dial, set things, but it's also been extended. And because the ESP32 on the VT132 has Wi-Fi, he's extended this so from that modem you can actually connect to your Wi-Fi. You can go in and give it your SID and password, your SSID and your password, those kind of things, and it can connect to your Wi-Fi. That's all saved in ROM or in the NVRAM as well. You can come back into the modem and reconnect to your Wi-Fi, and once you're connected, you can connect to BBSs. So there's a whole world of BBSs out there now on the internet that you connect to via basically Telnet, instead of an old school dial-up modem, but you can connect to those BBSs. And with the VGA code page here, you can look at the wonderful Ansi graphics on those. You can play door games, all the things you could do back in the old days of BBSs are available to you. And if you didn't experience that world, this gives you a really easy way to get into that. It's just baked right into the VT132. You can do Kermit transfers, those kind of things through it. So it very easily gives you a Wi-Fi connection off your RC 2014, out to the internet. This will also apply really well in my Altair, where when I get the card, migrated into my Altair, so I've got a VT100 emulator in the Altair, I'll have a Wi-Fi connection, essentially through a second serial port. So that's just a really cool feature. Really cool feature. So let me change the code page back to the deck one. And we'll move on to setup C or D. And in setup D, there's a couple things we can do here. My keyboard mapping is currently set to US. I can move across the bottom here. And I can hit 6 and set my keyboard mappings to UK or German or Italian. I don't know offhand what TT is. I should know that, and I don't. Let me set it back to US. I can toggle the MCS and the NRCS fonts here, and those have to do with the deck multinational character sets. We're currently set to MCS, and if I hit 7, it'll change it to that national character set. So you've got control over that. And then a really, really cool feature here is the up and down arrows. You'll notice down in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen it says WordStar VT100. So the keyboard mappings from the USB or the PS2 keyboard are generating escape sequences or control codes, to CPM that map the standard VT100. Or not standard, the WordStar / VT100. So if when WordStar you're using, say, Control E to move up, Control D to move right, that gets the cursor keys on the keyboard mapped to those, and we can change these personalities. So I'm going to hit the up arrow. There's a straight Ansi VT100. There's a VT52. There's K-Pro. I've done a little bit with the K-Pro. I don't really know what the keyboard mapping difference is, but it's apparently K-Pro compatible. Osborne 1, Hazeltine 1500 terminal, an ADM 31 terminal, ADM 3A. I used to spend a fair amount of time on an ADM 3A back in the day. And back to WordStar VT100, which is the default I normally run on. So, that's just really cool that you can provide different key mappings. So if your software was expecting Hazeltine mappings, you could change the mappings and the software should just then work because the key presses on the PS2 keyboard are generating whatever those Hazeltine equivalent codes would be. So that really kind of walks us through setup. I can hit 5 here to get back around to setup A. As I said, I am on beta 6 of the software. These may change slightly going forward, but just a huge amount of functionality here just in the setup before you even start to use the terminal. So I think that covers the things I wanted to talk about. I will wrap this one up here, and I'll see you in a future video.